Hey folks, welcome back to the Portable Gamer and welcome to our first full race in F1 2018. So I am in the Williams, which is going to be the FW41 this year, and I qualified P14, and I have to say I have the AI jacked higher than I have ever had it before. I don't want to tell you where it is because it's not, it ain't 110%, but it's higher than I've ever had it before. It's interesting. This is a very cool game, I have to say. F1 2017, F1 2018, the whole series, man, they really do a great job with it. So this is what I can tell you. I did the development programs, and well, let me back up a step and tell you why I'm in a Williams. I'm in a Williams because I don't want to race Mercedes. Mercedes would be my brand, my team. But racing Ferrari, Mercedes, or Red Bull in this game is sort of, there's some YouTubers that have sort of earned it. They're just unbelievable sim racers. Okay, that's cool. You can run Mercedes. You've earned your bones. But I feel like I haven't. But I still like Mercedes as a brand. And it's either, if you're not in the works, Silver Arrows, then you're in the Williams or Force India. I'm not really a fan of Force India, so I went with Williams. Plus, Williams, it's an old school British brand. It's got some history, so yeah. So I went with Williams. And the thing is, in 2018, in real life, Williams is just taking a beating in F1. And it's my understanding, I could be wrong, but it's my understanding that this game sort of captures that very accurately, all the teams. So I knew going in that if I was going to race as Williams, I was going to have my work cut out for me. There's two things I can do. Make it stick. There's two things I can do. One thing is I can drop the AI enough that I actually win every race. Or podium, you know what I mean. Or I can race realistically as Williams with the AI on some type of a meaningful setting and basically just try to not finish last in every race. And that's what I decided to do. That was not a dive bomb. It was not the best pass, not the most artful pass. That was not a dive bomb. So I went with option B. I'm going to race realistically as Williams, and that means that I'm not going to be winning a lot of races this year. But I like realism in my truck sim. I like realism in my farm sim. There's no reason we can't have realism in F1. So that's what we're going with. And actually, I'm going to hop in car. Is it this way? Is it? Well, we'll go T-Cam for a little bit, and then we'll hop in car. So that's what we're doing. And now there's a method to my plan. I'm thinking of something here. And what I'm thinking of is, again, not super graceful, but not a dive bomb. I feel like I had that one. So the development programs, and I mentioned this in my, I don't want to call it a review. I'm not that kind of YouTuber. But I mentioned it in my review of F1 2018. That the development programs, they're sort of starting to click with me in a way that they have not before. You run the development programs essentially yourself in practice. And that's where you get the points to build the car. Fantastic. So you can continue to R&D the car regardless of how well you finish. I have to believe that's intentional. Now, obviously, you get more points if you finish well. But I have to believe that the developers set it up that way intentionally. Because if they didn't, then everybody would race as Ferrari or Mercedes. And what fun is that? So you can, if you're a good driver, and I'm an adequate driver. I don't know that I'd say I'm a good driver. But if you're a decent driver, and if you take the time to do the development programs, you can stack tons of points and continue to build the car and make it more competitive. And the thing is, it's going to take a couple seasons. So what I've decided is this game came out 2 days ago. The next one should be out. Assume it's the same time next year. We'll call it 52 weeks from now. If I were to do one calendar race per weekend, 2 full seasons would be 40 weeks. I don't know if anybody wants to like get on board for that, but that's what I'm going to do. And I don't anticipate having a lot of good finishes this year, but I really want to focus on building the car and seeing if we can make the car competitive. And I also want to focus on becoming a better driver. And I mean, if you're an absolute pro at this game, you're seeing my line right now and you're just cringing. But like I said, the AI is not completely potatoed, and I'm catching up this McLaren in front of us. I want to say, I don't think it's Alonso. It might be. But I'm catching up this McLaren. Lap by lap, little by little, nothing crazy, just gradually, a little wide, just gradually reeling him in. And that's the kind of driver that I want to be, just consistent. And, you know, it's weird for me because this is a video game, right? It's a simulation, it's a video game, it's a simulation, it's a video game, it's a video game. And I think we've all, whether we know it or not, on some level, it's like we've all sort of become conditioned that in video game world, you always win. In video game world, right, you always survive. Completely off topic. Battlefield 1, that first scene in Battlefield 1, where the text on the screen says, "You are not expected to survive." And I have to think that's one of the reasons why Battlefield 1 didn't do very well. There's some other reasons, slightly more philosophical. I won't get into all that, but Battlefield 1 that's kind of a brutal game. And it sort of goes against what we've been conditioned as gamers to expect, which is that we always win. We always survive. We always get the headshot, right? So the idea of, and it's probably 2 to 3 hours per race. So 20 races in a season, 2 to 3 hours. We'll go on the low side. We'll say 2 hours. You're talking about 40 hours of chair time to finish a season. And you may or may not really do very well. And I think, and again, that's realistic. And I do like to, all my sims, I like them to be realistic. It's realistic, but it's different. You know what I mean? The idea that, like, you know, you're not going to win any races this year. That's different, but that's how I'm going to do it. So if you want to do this career with me, let's do it. And I think I'm just going to go to first pit stop because we do catch up this McLaren in front of us. But even that, I mean, where are we at right now? We're in P13. I think a couple cars have pitted. It's lap 5, P13. So we started P14, and I believe I know we're on a one-stop strategy, and a lot of other drivers are on a two-stop strategy. I believe the highest we get is about P4 before we take our pit stop, and then it doesn't end well. I don't crash. I don't knock my wing off, but it gets kind of tedious and kind of ugly toward the end of the race, I have to say. And God, so, you know, before I do a career mode race, because I don't restart and I don't, like, whatever finish I get, I take it. If I get knocked out on lap 1, I own it. So I do practice these races a couple times in just standalone Grand Prix mode, not career mode. And I'm really trying to understand the blue light. I mean, I understand what the blue light means, but it's weird to see it blinking like on the side of the track, but not blinking. Jesus, looks like he's typing a letter there. To see it blinking on the side of the track, but not to see it blinking on your wheel. And I'm like, because I've been penalized, right? I got dinged, and I have been like rammed by AI cars when I don't yield or when I don't go where I'm supposed to. So I've gotten in the habit of really responding very quickly to that blue flag. Like I do run with a map on my HUD, not because I don't know the track or because I want to see where I am on the track. I need to see other cars, and wide. Sorry, man. It's getting there. It's not perfect yet. But what you see right now is what I see when I'm driving. So I don't, I'm always in car. I never do TCAM, and I really can't see a whole lot. So I can hit the look back button, but that doesn't tell you a ton. So I'm very mindful of the blue light, and as soon as I see it, I look at the HUD, I see where other cars are, and then I try to time where I'm going to let them get by. Sometimes that works, sometimes that doesn't. So toward the end of the race, 29 laps, it's a 50% race distance. But toward like lap, I don't know, 25, 26, really toward the end of the race, I could see the blue light blinking, and I knew I was about to get lapped by the leaders, and I was trying to let them by and not get dinged. And like, let's say I was P14, like P15 and P16 snuck by with the lap traffic. And I mean, I get that, but I don't know what the marshals would do about that in real life. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know if that would be considered like, hey, just good strategic racing, or if that would be like, it's kind of messed up, man. That's not really gentlemanly for like a position racing driver to tuck in with lapping traffic and sneak by a car under the blue light. I don't know how I feel about that, but I know it happened. So we're about to, where are we at? We're at 11 minutes. We're about to get in the mix here with these cars right in front of us. Man, I can't tell you, like, what you're seeing right now. I can't tell you how happy it makes me to be able to run with the AI and not feel like I always say, not feel like I've got the AI turned down so far that it's not even meaningful, or that the AI is turned up so much that I can't hang with them. I feel like I got it just about right. And I will tell you something else that I'm learning. I'm so protective of my front wing, so protective. And learning to trust the braking points of the AI, and how do I want to say this? Like, learning to brake on your brake point and know that the car that is like 18 or 20 feet in front of you is going to brake on their brake point, and you're both going to slow down and move through the turn complex. It's really weird because you know you're getting to a brake point. You know you're getting to your brake point, and you're looking at the car in front of you, and it's like, he ain't slowing down. If I start to brake now, like I feel like I should, he's going to move through the turn much faster than me. If I don't start to brake now, I'm going to hit him and tear my front wing off. So it's really weird to get, and you can see I always cheat out to the inside a little bit because I want to be ready to like dive to the inside if they brake unexpectedly. But the thing is, they don't brake unexpectedly. They brake very consistently. The AI brakes very consistently on its brake points, and you can trust them. I'm beginning to trust them and be able to move through these turn complexes like formation flying, you know what I'm saying? The Blue Angels, like 10 feet apart, 8 feet apart, bumper to bumper, and know that everything is going to be cool. But yeah, this right here for me is what I want racing to be. Like, just lap by lap, trying to make up time on this McLaren and know that, like, if I screw up, if I go wide, if I bobble a corner, they pull out another couple seconds in front of me, and if I run a good, consistent, steady lap, I will make up time on that driver, and that's all I'm trying to do. I also feel like you have to play this game year after year after year till you know these tracks like the back of your hand, and that's something else that I see when I watch these like hot rod YouTubers that are absolute F1 demons. Is I think, man, how many hundreds, how many thousands of laps do they have on these tracks since these sims started coming out like 15, 18, 20 years ago? And I'm kind of jealous because I know a lot of sports car tracks and GT tracks, but I don't know the entire F1 circuit. So it's really been, since I got into F1 2017 a few months ago, it's really been cool to start learning these tracks, and even within a race, like, it's weird that as many laps as I think I have, and of all the tracks in F1, I probably have the most laps on Australia because it's first race of the season, first race on the calendar. So anytime you start a new career, you automatically go to Australia. So I feel like I have a ton of laps on this track, more than on any other track. But even so, when I do a race weekend, I feel like I'm running even more laps, I'm getting even more experience. And I always feel like I learn something every time I do a race weekend on a track, even though I don't know if I'm making sense right now. Even though you think, like, come on, how well can you know a track? You either know it or you don't. I know it. What else can you learn? And yet I learn something every race weekend. I'm also learning perspective. And it's weird that, in fact, this turn right here, I was not staying far enough to the left. I was not staying far enough to the outside. And AI kept trying to pass me down the outside, and that's my fault because I believe AI like has their line and they're expecting you to be on your line, and if you're not to the outside, AI is like, well, shoot, man, I'll stuff it down here. I'll try to make it happen, and they don't quite have room, but that was a terrible angle. Did we get the McLaren? Yeah, we did. Okay, cool. So now we're going to work on this Force India, and I think we're getting ready to pit. When we pit, then I'll go ahead and call it an episode. So it's the perspective is a little tricky for me when I'm in the car. I can't necessarily judge the width of the front wheels as well as I should be able to, and I think that's just a question of experience. But I'm so protective of that front wing and dinging that front wing and running wide. But like right there, I could be much more out to the left. And in fact, I'll show you on the next lap. So right through here, same thing. I could be further to the left there and further to the right here. Although, same thing. I've been right before that. Is that the 11-12 complex? Right through there, I've had cars try to stuff it down the right side by the wall. See right here, I'm like trying to stay further out, but I know I got another probably 2 or 3 feet that I could move to the left to defend that position. I mean, there's nobody trying to take it right now, but you know what I'm saying. You always know what I'm saying. So yeah, man, where's my pit stop? It's not like I want to pit, but yeah, we're not really. I don't think there's anything going on yet. Unless, is that? Jesus, that Force India put a move on me, man. We were right behind them, and now they're like gone. Huh. Okay, you see where we're at. So lap 12 of 17, I'm sorry, lap 12 of 29, and we're up to P4. So yeah, everybody is pitted on the two-stop strategy. We're about to make our single pit stop. Now, let's go ahead and finish this lap, and I think, yeah, I think this is when we pit. And we started on Ultra Soft, and we go to, spoiler alert, we go to Super Soft, and it's, now the tire wear calculator does seem a little different than F1 2017. I feel like you're getting more life out of the tires, and I guess with, when you do a half-length race, they have to sort of change the tire wear calculation. I mean, I've seen drivers in real life go in an 80 lap race. I've seen drivers go. It was just a couple weeks ago. Didn't Hamilton go like 45 laps on Supersoft? Something ridiculous. And also how you drive the car determines. You can get a few more laps out of the tires. So I feel like they've altered it a little bit. I mean, obviously you wouldn't need to stop 2 or 3 laps. You wouldn't need to make 2 or 3 pit stops in a 30-lap race. So clearly they've accelerated fuel use and tire wear. But I feel like they've tweaked it a little bit and made it more awesome, I guess. I'll go ahead and stop here. I'll just go ahead and stop here. Yeah, so that was a combination of mental error and my tires being really worn. But I definitely pit this lap because my tires are gone. So, I wish I would have ended it one lap sooner. Yeah, everything's just kind of falling apart right now. Went from P4 to P13 without a pit stop. Yay! So, I'm sorry, I take that back. We went from P4 to P10 without a pit stop. Fantastic. But either way, you get the idea, and I'm going to race Williams, and I'm going to finish at the back of the pack, and I'm okay with that. I'm at peace with that. Mostly, I just want to do the development programs and build the car and try to be competitive next season. Does that make sense? Is that a deal? It's a deal. Fantastic. All right. So coming up on the end of our lap. Yeah, tires are gone. Jesus, everybody hates me right now. Trying to let those guys around. All right. Is this it? We gonna pit? I know we are, but still thinking out loud. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Pushed it too far. There we go. And then this mess. Okay, cool. You don't need to see me pull into the pit. You know how that all works. Right, folks. Thanks for stopping back to check out the Portable Gamer. Thanks for joining us for our first race of the season, F1 2018. We'll see you next time. Take care.